Well, that was wildly embarrassing for Oklahoma fans, and, well, let's talk about it. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer question in the comments below. Is it the most embarrassing loss that you've ever seen from Oklahoma? Because I think it is. And I wrote about this at foxsports.com where you can take a look at it. It's the most embarrassing loss that I think Oklahoma's ever suffered. And I mean that. It's next to the 63-28 to LSU, the 2012 loss to Notre Dame at home. I mean, think of the worst feeling you've ever had as an Oklahoma fan, and that's probably where you're at. And the reason I put it there is the stakes are different, okay? One of the things that I led with, and I think the most important storyline to date, is Oklahoma not only blew a 17-point lead, it blew a 17-point lead at home in the college football playoff. It is tied for the biggest blown lead in college football playoff history with, survey says, 2018 Rose Bowl, where Oklahoma blew a 17-point lead to Georgia in the Rose Bowl. Now, what's different is the Rose Bowl is not the Palace on the Prairie. The Rose Bowl is not Owen Field. The Rose Bowl is not Norman, Oklahoma, where you have Bob Stoops doing the narration, leading the team in. Barry switches on the sideline. You brought 50 Cent in to do the mini-men, only to get mini-manned. Ty Simpson's feeling himself. AL.com sent a whole contingent of reporters out, and I found it funny because they had these ready to go when OU won. Pretty funny. Better sooner than later, right? And I thought that was pretty funny. And I get it. Newspapers, broadsheets. A lot of photos of Alabama players with roses clutched between their teeth as they're headed to the Rose Bowl to get ready to play Indiana. And rightfully so. But when Oklahoma goes up 17-0, and I wrote about this too, I thought it felt like the most lopsided 10-0 lead that I'd ever seen, but it was also still just 10-0. And John Mateer goes from playing like the guy that we'd seen the first 4 games of the season to playing like the guy that we'd seen through the middle of the season and worse. Alabama played like the team that we saw lose to Florida State and like the team that we saw beat Georgia at Sanford. One of those teams played like that for 3 quarters. One of those teams played like that for 1 quarter, and that's what you got. You have John Mateer airmailing a pass to Javonte Gibson. You have Xavier Robinson not catching a pass that fell through his hands. Same thing, Torrey Blaylock kind of makes a play. You have John Mateer putting the ball on the floor, but officials missed it, so it's not a fumble. You have Grayson Miller fumbling his own punt, and then Tim Keenan falling on it. And, of course, you got the pick 6 where they baited John Mateer into throwing into coverage. A lot of things were illuminated about this from the Alabama side, for which I spent a lot of time, right? Ryan Grubb said, look, we learned how to play until there was nothing left to play after the SEC championship game. We were not happy about how that game ended and how we were kind of out of it after 14-0. Down 17-0, it's 17 points. And Ty Simpson was feeling himself, and he said as much. He even said thank you to media for doubting us. He put on his full Kobe and whatnot. And I'm going, all right, cool, bet, whatever. Whatever you got to do, whatever you got to say, however it is, you got to get it done. That's how you get it done. It sucks for Oklahoma because this was supposed to be the game. Like I said it, and I stick to this. Biggest game in state history. It is. And you brought out all the guns for it, and you set the table. Hell, you earned the right to set the table, right? You set the terms of this. It's in Oklahoma. It's at night. It's cold. As a matter of fact, when we go down there for the fourth quarter stuff, and I'll probably put this on like TikTok or Reels or whatnot, I'm the only reporter on the ground not wearing a jacket. Everybody else is wearing a jacket on the sideline. Everybody else. I even got some folks like, yo, dog, are you cold? I said, no, I'm from here. This ain't cold. I show you cold. It's 47 degrees, 43 degrees. It's like a 12-mile-an-hour wind. I'm fine. I'm from here. And yet and still, I'm watching folks that are also from here in the stands, just mad, just angry, upset. You know, and it's also, we were if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're right to feel afraid of OU being up 17-0. Scored too early, too quickly. So 1-point favorite to win this game. So tell me how Alabama scores 34-7 the rest of the way. 17, 24. And then the really crappy part is Brent Venables is damn near unbeatable when he holds a team to 20 or less. When a team scores 21 or more, he's 18-19. And then the 5-0 that I've been telling people about, Brent Venables is 5-0 in rematch the same year against the same team. Out the window. Now you have to remember that Kalen DeBoer is 8-2 against AP top 10 teams. And Kalen DeBoer was saying, look, all I kept telling our kids is score one. Score one. That's it. Score a touchdown. A touchdown. And it kept rolling from there. The defense came online, and Kane Womack said what I thought should be an absolute affront to Ben Arbuckle and that offense. They don't play a lot of man coverage at Alabama. They want you to beat them throwing the football over the top. They don't, which is why people don't do it. Like, they've allowed like 19 passes of 20 yards or more all season. You just don't get to do that. They drop them and they say you beat us going underneath. And it looked like Mateer was willing to do that to start. But what Womack said, his players were going to him saying, we want to play man. But screw this team. Screw this group of wide receivers. They get nothing. We know they're not that good. We know we can check them at the line of scrimmage. They'll get nothing. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as he switched to man and allowed his men to go tighten the screws, that was it. John Mateer couldn't see Deion Burks, couldn't see Isaiah Statanga, couldn't see Jarrett Cannick, couldn't see Jermichael Carter. They just disappeared. And Ben Arbuckle lacked creativity in his play calling. He's got a bunch of route trees that go like this, like if it's not the underneath that is there for Mateer, he's got to wait for the window. And while he's waiting for the window, he's running for his life to the sideline. There's nowhere to run the offense, man. There's no run game. There's not been a run game, but the run game has been him. And I think many people expect that dude to be Kyler Murray shooting through the gaps, when really it's just Baker Mayfield who's going to pick up just enough to get you the first down. And there's some of that in Mateer's game. But the thing that he still doesn't have that Baker did is he's not accurate with the ball. Even the balls that these guys catch are not where you would put them. Like, the thing I tell people about quarterback at college is every single player on your roster at that level can play quarterback. They're athletic enough to throw the football all over the yard and to make plays with their feet. What separates a quarterback from any other player is his accuracy and where he can put that ball anywhere he wants at any time, and his ability to process the play post-snap. Quick, fast, know where you're going. It's not just to get the pre-snap stuff. You got to get the post-snap stuff because the picture changes. None of that showed up for John Mateer, especially in the second half. Kane Womack had that dude going in circles, and by that point, Ben Arbuckle. And as soon as Ryan Grubb figured out how to neutralize R. Mason Thomas, there went the defense. Now, I expected some of this, right? Ryan Grubb's a good ball coach. But through the first quarter and a half, he just refused to let Ty Simpson halfback slide that dude. Like, they can't slide protection all the way to R. Mason Thomas because of the alignment. You're just not going to get there. So it's always going to be one-on-one, which is great by Brent Venables. What you're usually going to do is tell that tailback not to go back out in routes. You're going to slide him to R. Mason Thomas' side and tell him to chip. Give a little help. They weren't doing that. They were putting those guys out in routes. And damn it, as soon as Taylor Wine thumped Cole Adams, who's, by the way, from around the way, he from Owasso, picked up the 15-yard penalty, you give him life. And what happens? Daniel Hill goes for 30 yards. And then what happens? Ladzier Brooks catches his second touchdown pass tonight, and he ain't caught a touchdown pass all friggin' year. And that is the anatomy of how Oklahoma becomes the second team, but also the only program to blow a 17-point lead in the college football playoff. Two different head coaches. One in the Rose Bowl, one right here on this red dirt, and that sucks.